A divine warning by the prophet for the nations. The citizens of all free national governments, according to their national constitution, are of one family bearing one free national name. Those who fail to recognize the free national name of their constitutional government are classed as undesirables and are subject to all inferior names and abuses and mistreatments that the citizens care to bestow upon them. And it is a sin for any group of people to violate the national constitutional laws of a free national government and cling to names and the principles that allude to slavery. I, the prophet, was prepared by the great God Allah to warn my people to repent from their sinful ways and to go back to that state of mind of their forefathers' divine and national principles, that they will be law abiders and receive their divine right as citizens and receive the divine right as citizens according to their free national constitution that was prepared for all free national beings. They are to claim their own free national name and religion. There is but one issue for them to be recognized by this government and the earth, and it comes only through the connection of the Moorish Divine and National Movement, which is incorporated in this government and recognized by all other nations of the world. And through it, they and their children can receive their divine rights unmolested by other citizens, that they can cast a free national ballot at the polls and under the free national constitution of the state's government, and not under a granted privilege, as has been the existing condition many generations. You who doubt whether I, the prophet, and my principles are right for the redemption of my people, go to those that know law in the city hall and amongst the officials in your government, and ask them under an intelligent tone, and they will be glad to render you a favorable reply, for they are glad to see me bring you out of darkness into the light. Money doesn't make the man. It is free national standards and power that make a man in a nation. The wealth of all free national governments, gold and silver and commerce, belong to the citizens alone. And without your national citizenship by name and principles, you have no true wealth. And I am hereby calling on all true citizens that stand for a national free government and the enforcement of the Constitution to help me in my great missionary work, because I need all support from all true American citizens of the United States of America. Help me to save my people who have fallen from the constitutional laws of government. I am depending on your support to get them back to the constitutional fold again, that they will learn to love instead of hate and will live according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, supporting our free national constitution for the United States of America. I love my people and I desire their unity and mine back to their own national and divine standard, because day by day they have been violating the national and constitutional laws of their government by claiming names and principles that are unconstitutional. If Italians, Greeks, English, Chinese, Japanese, Turks, and Arabians are forced to proclaim their free national name and religion before the constitutional government of the United States of America, it is no more than right that the law should be enforced upon all other American citizens alike. And all other governments, when a man is born and raised there and asks for his national descent name, and if he fails to give it, he is misused, imprisoned, or exiled. Any group of people that fail to answer up to the constitutional standard by name and principles, because to be a citizen of any government, you must claim your national descent name, because they place their trust upon issue and names formed by their forefathers. The word Negro alludes in the Latin language to the word nigger, the same as the word colored alludes to anything that is painted, varnished, and dyed. And every nation must bear a national descent name of their forefathers, because honoring thy fathers and thy mothers, your days will be lengthened upon this earth. These names have never been recognized by any true American citizen of this day. Through your free national name, you are known and recognized by all nations of the earth that are recognized by said national government in which they live. The 14th and 15th Amendment brought the North and South in union, placing the Southerners, who were at that time without power, with constitutional body of power. And at that time, 1865, the free national constitutional law that was in force since 1774 declared all men equal and free. And if all men are declared by the free national constitution to be equal and free, since that constitution has never been changed, there is no need for the application of the 14th and 15th Amendment for the salvation of our people and citizens. So, there isn't but one supreme issue for my people to use to redeem that which was lost, and that is through the above statements. Then the lion and the lamb can lie down together in yonder hills, and neither will be harmed, because love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice will be reigning in this land. In those days, the United States will be one of the greatest civilized and prosperous governments of the world. But if the above principles are not carried out by the citizens and my people in this government, the worst is yet to come, because the great God of the universe is not pleased with the works that are being performed in North America by my people, and this great sin must be removed from the land to save it from enormous earthquakes, diseases, etc. And I, the prophet, do hereby believe that this administration of the government being more wisely prepared by more genius citizens that believe in their free national constitution and laws, and through the help of such classes of citizens, I, the prophet, truly believe that my people will find the true and divine way of their forefathers and learn to stop serving carnal customs and merely ideas of man that have never done them any good, but have always harmed them. So I, the prophet, am hereby calling aloud with a divine plea to all true American citizens to help me to remove this great sin, which has been committed and is being practiced by my people in the United States of America, because they know it is not the true and divine way. And without understanding, they have fallen from the true light into utter darkness of sin. And there is not a nation on earth today that will recognize them socially, religiously, politically, or economically, etc., in their present condition of their endeavorment, in which they themselves try to force upon a civilized world. They would not refrain from their sinful ways of action, and their deeds have brought Jim Crowism, segregation, and everything that brings harm to human beings on earth. And they fought the Southerner for all these great misuses. But I have traveled in the South and examined conditions there. And it is the works of my people continuously practicing things that bring disrespect to any nation that lives the life. And I am hereby calling on all true American citizens for moral support and finance to help me in my great missionary work to bring my people out of darkness into the marvelous light from the prophet, Islam. Let me see, let me greet Hanuna Bay, peace and love, Taraji and Kabaka Bay, Islam.
Islam Wars.
Peace and love. Peace and love.
That's everybody. Oh, and Taraji, I completed your card. I'm working on Brother Kabaka Bay. I should have that done by tonight, but I'll keep y'all posted on that. Let's see. Okay. So today, you log in twice, Taraji? Okay. All right. So today, I wanted to continue from where we left off with Moore's paradigm. And keeping, remember, it goes back to the competency of, we got our fez turban on. We look enlightened when we're in our cultural habit and we're being ourselves. We look enlightened. We look like noble people. We look like competent people. So it's imperative that this matches the look. How do you do that? How do you do that? History and law. When you say law, there's a lot of aspects to law. Contract law, trust law, dealing with estates, divine law, natural law, right? And it doesn't stop. We're always a student, but we want to make sure our character, our deeds, and what we're striving to do is in harmony with the look, right? We want to be genuine. We're nationalists. We're Moors. We're humanitarians. We want to unite our people. We want to be the light bearers. We want nationhood. We want brotherhood and sisterhood, right? Competency of your own history is key. All right. So me, like, I have some things queued up to like just for correlations. And one thing, matter of fact, oh, okay, it's popped up. So this divine, I might as well speak on this. So, for example, we're in North America. We're going to interface with our brothers and sisters that are classified as being from Latin America, rather be Mexican, El Salvadorian, Puerto Rican, etc. We want to let them know the connection to the Moorish paradigm. For example, here's a picture of the Arawaks. The Arawaks would be the indigenous cultures of what they call the Caribbeans. Let me check the chat. I see Dupac Babes putting something in the chat. Y'all check that out. Human Rights Summit. All right, so this is how you can appeal to our Jamaican brothers, our Puerto Rican brothers, our Cuban brothers. Anybody south of Florida and those islands, we can reference the Arawaks. All right, so let me just show just a quick reference. Just real quick, which the stuff that you can just in real time just pull up. Arawak, a group of indigenous people of Northern South America of the Caribbean. All right. So as the Moors, we got Tainos, we got Arawaks. And since I brought that up, let's just look at Taino. Who are the Taino? Taino were historic indigenous people of the Caribbean. Right. So we got two clans of indigenous Moorish clans. So we got the Taino Moors or Moreno or Morenas. You got the Arawak, Moreno or Morenas. This covers the whole Caribbean. Are people that are tagged West Indians, right? The West Indies. We want to clear that up for unification purposes. Oh no, we all Moors, we Taino and Arawaks. Or our Puerto Rican brothers and sisters that's calling themselves Rich Port. The Europeans saw all the gold on the island, Rich Port, Puerto Rican. That's what that means in Spanish. We want to clear that up. It's not a nationality, right? We Taino Moors. This is appeal. This is common sense and examples of how we can unite with the people. And of course, our Filipino brothers and sisters, right? You can just pull stuff like this, pull this stuff in real time when you're talking. If you got friends, high school friends, family members that's Filipino, show them this stuff. Show them how they was phased up. Tell them about the Moro Rebellion. And this ain't ancient. This 1902. The Moro Rebellion, 1902. 1902. What was the Moro Rebellion about? Keep in mind, Wikipedia gonna say American troops, but it's United States troops. They were rebelling against United States troops, right? Because they were trying to colonize them over there, right? The Spanish was colonizing them, and then they couldn't do nothing. The Spanish couldn't do nothing with the Moros over there, so they did a 42 fake and said, "We out of here, and we're gonna replace our troops with United States troops." That's all that happened. Because it's the same crew that's colonizing. If we know this information, that's something to unite behind with the Filipino community. Let them know this stuff. For you to even let them know this and want to unify with them, they ain't gonna even expect that. They might even know about this information. Right? Moro Moors. Go to images on them. Go to images. Show them how they was fed and turbaned up, fighting the oppression of the colonists. Had national pride. Feds and turbaned up. Show the Filipino community that while you have your fez and turban on as well. They're seeing you in real time and you showing them they ancestors. And it ain't really, it's ancestors, but like I said, it was 1902. This wasn't a long time ago. This wasn't a long time ago. Connected to the Moorish Empire. This was part of the Moorish Empire. 1902. This was the last of our active Moors. One of the last of our active Moors. 1902. We're not talking about treaties in 1700, not no more. We're talking about 1902. Active Moors. Right? That's how you appeal to the Filipino community. Right? So I just gave you 3 nationalities. Or did I say, or 2? Gave you 2 examples. Taino, Arawak. Any Caribbean people, Jamaican, Haiti, Cuba. Arawak, Taino, period. Can't shake it. Islam, Brother Salim. Can't shake it.
Islam is
All right, so any thoughts on that before I continue with the read?
I thought that was great.
Okay.
I feel like it's easier to speak to people like when they ask questions about the Fez, want to know about it and how it ties back to them. I feel like that's a good way to just pull it up and kind of show them ancestors. Just to kind of spark curiosity to dig a little deeper for themselves too.
1902. Moro Rebellion. This ain't ancient, right? So, I'll continue with the Arawak. Let me see, where was he at last week? And this covers, like I said, when we're dealing with Mayans and stuff like that, we're also covering our El Salvadorian community, also covering our Honduras community. We're also covering the Belizean community. We're covering the Mexican community, right? So keep these things in mind when we're going. That's why it's history and law go together. These cliche statements are not just arbitrarily, we're just saying it. You need to be competent on history and law for a reason. If you're an ambassador for, you're saying that you have a nationality, that means you're an ambassador for a nation state. That's where your mind should be. You know, you about unity. Here's another correlation. Now we're going to do a correlation. Now we're talking about Olmec Jade. We're talking about calendars by what they call the Mayan calendars. Now let's do another correlation with another part of the planet. Who else doing that? Let me move this out the way. It's in my way. Do another correlation. We did the El Salvadorian correlation. Let's do, who else is messing with Jade during that time? You start looking at the ancient. Wow, they really deleted my files? I just already queued up. But anyway, I could do it in real time right now. Let me check one more time because I can't believe this. Yeah, I got it. Okay. Yeah, they deleted my files. Oh, no, they didn't. Take that back. So look, so now we got Jade and Ancient. Let's go to Asiatic cultures. The significance of Jade. Jade was regarded as the most precious stone in ancient China. and it symbolized purity and moral integrity. So now we got ancient China, which we know is Manchuria, which we know the Moors, the Fushang dynasty Moors, the Song dynasty, Li dynasty Moors, right? So now we got the Olmecs, Jade. Now we got Jade over here, right? And remember, BC time, the Olmecs nomadically traveled over there, right? So that's another connection. So we just went through 5 nationalities right now, just real quick, and did a correlation. That's what it's about. Being able to do that on the spot. So Olmec Jade. Matter of fact, before I move on, let's have some thoughts on that. How everybody feel about that? Does that make sense? What's everybody take on that? On that perspective? I want to hear some thoughts. I want to hear some thoughts on that.
I probably are you asking like thoughts like just on J period or like the difference between them like as far as the regions or
So I gave an example on if somebody was from El Salvador, somebody was from Jamaica, Haiti, Cuba, Belize, uh, China, Vietnam, Malaysia, Philippines, and I from I connected the dots on the correlation of how I led back to the Moorish roots, right? Do you feel that you will be comfortable enough to do that if you interface with somebody today and they, have potential of uniting with the force field of the Moorish paradigm? Would you feel comfortable with any nationality that was in front of you to articulate how they're connected to the Moorish paradigm?
fully
You was breaking up. I heard you say something.
oh I have pauses. Were you talking to me or or
Yeah, to you, but really the whole floor, because anybody can chime in.
oh yeah, I was just saying for me, like yeah, I could show them like uh a good little bit, but like, on the level that you on, I'm not on that level yet, but I could definitely show them that and show, a lot of the people how, came out of the highly melanated man put towards, show them where the Moors was and stuff like that. So yeah, I could show them me personally myself, I could show them a good bit, but you know, going in more detail, like how you doing, I could sharpen up my skills on that.
Feel that. I feel that. Oh, and real quick, let me make sure I greet everybody. Brother Hassan, peace and love. Tazamaji L, peace and love.
Peace and love, everybody.
Peace and love, Morris.
Peace and love.
Peace and love, everybody.
Peace and love. Peace and love.
Peace and love.
Okay. So you said you would tighten up. Okay, so now what we would do is identify on what you want to tighten up on. Would it be the historical account of laying it out for somebody, or would it be knowing the information? So that's what and this is what this is about. You know,
Yeah, I would say just uh historical, just knowing more historical. I would say that's the biggest part because the history would give me the information to be able to show and know more exactly what I'm talking about.
Let me just ask a question for the floor. How I ran down the correlation. If y'all would have heard that for the first time, what would y'all feel about that? Y'all was a blank canvas, and I showed you how the Olmecs with J represented to the culture for the Olmecs, the calendar system. And then I showed you in ancient Manchuria, the jade and the calendar system was regarded in the same way. Well, how would you feel about that? I'm just curious.
Me, most likely, I would probably go look up the Olmecs since that's over here on these lands, and that probably would funnel me into the jade and things of that nature. That would be the Olmecs knowledge of the materials around, so jade would be a material, a rock that the Olmecs use, and how that can relate back to, that's what I would do. If you came across me and I'm a blank canvas, yeah, the Olmecs, more, I thought, jade, silver, and I like stone, so it would like ring a bell like jade, silver, and things like that. So he's like, oh, huh. So we'll just honor us stone being masons because jade is stone. That's just, masonry on this part of the planet. But clearly, I know what masonry is, but at that moment, I wouldn't know. But I would ultimately lead back to just the Olmecs or just masons over here building huge stone heads, pyramids, homes, things like that. So,
Okay. Nah, you got something, Nah,
I do have something. So I like the way that it flows and pieces together because I feel like you can bring up everything on the computer. But I think having something as like something created already, like a flow chart or something, with all the information that we can all utilize when we're talking to people, I think that would be good. That way we have the history right there and we have resources we can pull it up, kind of like a presentation. I feel like a presentation with resources at the end of the presentation, so that way they know that there's research into this too, to present to people, like just quick, like 5 slides real quick, like a timeline with, you know what I mean? And we can give the resources to them so they can fact check it if they want. I feel like that would be a good approach, but we would have to have like multiple for like different nationalities, right? To show the connection.
Right. A flow chart of yeah, like 10 different nationalities will have a flow chart of how they connected to the Moorish paradigm and ancestrally.
Yes, but I think we have to create that so that way anyone that's doing the missionary work or anyone that's going out there and like wants to be able to speak about it and use it as like a tool, like while they're still learning, right? But use it as a tool and stuff like that. Like that'd be good for more confident like talking to people. That's what I think. But I like the flow.
Yeah. I like that. That's an excellent idea. And practical things like this as well. It's a simple definition of Moro. Simple definition of Moro is going to take you to more real practical unification tools at our disposal. All right, so Olmec Jade, dating from approximately 1150 BC, found in Mexico, a Mexum, Here we see an Olmec scribe, very similar to the scribes of the Nile, Mesopotamia. Now we're talking about Mesopotamia. Here's another. Now we can talk to the Iranian, uh, Iraq, that whole area. Mesopotamia is their ancestor. That's the ancient ones for them out there. The mothers and fathers of civilization. But all that quote unquote Middle East, Syria, or anything that they call in Persian, like that, loosely saying Persian, Mesopotamia, feathers and turbans, their ancestors and their deities, the Sumerians, right? The Sumerian deities hit home with that population. Of course, India, with Hindustan, Mauryan dynasty, that's going to cover Pakistan, Malaysia, Indonesia. Also, you can go back further than that. You got the Kushite Empire, the Moors that were known as the Kushites. So it's all about knowing the timeline and what's going on. We're talking about West Africa, we're talking Mali Empire, Abu Bakari, Mansa Musa. Right? So we want to be able to connect the dots with whoever's in our face. This is another Olmec jade dating from approximately 1150 BC. Honduras. The Hamitic Phoenician characteristics of these objects are realized by many European scholars. So we're talking about Phoenicians in Honduras. I thought the Phoenicians is over there somewhere, North Africa or something. So the Olmecs are also referred to as the Phoenicians. Didn't the Phoenicians go to war with the Romans? The Punic Wars? So the Phoenicians were going to war with the Romans. That means our Olmecs are going to war. The Olmecs are going to war against the Romans. Look up the Punic Wars. Also need to know about phonics, right? The Phoenicians were known to create the alphabet, the phonics system. Right? So if most books is talking about the Phoenicians and the lens as if we're talking about in the eastern part of the world, but the ancient Honduras, or Mayan Olmec culture is looked at as Phoenicians in America. So the competency of the Moor unites the picture because people are getting fractionalized information. We need to know the whole story so we can clear it up for the people in front of us. That's how we unite. That's how we create communities. That's how we get to pull the people up so we can start getting these businesses established. So we can start pulling our money together. First is the boots on the ground, who's willing to be a missionary, a competent Moor to centralize and assist centralize them to the pool. Right? So it come down to it, ain't no way around it. The will of the people. We can only go as far as the people are willing to go for a greater cause. So the Phoenician characteristics, oh, matter of fact, somebody came in here. Let me make sure. Oh, DL, peace and love.
Peace and love. Peace and love.
Right. So whoever don't know about the Punic Wars, get familiar with it. It's going to talk about the Phoenicians or the Carthaginians going to war with the Romans, and it went from like um first century, second century, all the way into say 1900s. Like, you know what I mean? So, and when you see it, you're gonna just see it Moors versus the Romans. It was a clash of ideologies. And I'm just saying that for people that are just coming into this, but we know it was Moors versus Moors. It was infighting because the original Romans was Moors. We get that. We wanna, but that's a higher degree that may confuse people that are just coming into this paradigm.
Yo, Mom, you just said the old Romans were Moors. Is that what you just said?
Yeah, the original Romans were melanated people, Moors that they were Christian. They they adopted politically their stance was Christian, and then their creed was like a Roman. They took an oath to that. So when we're talking about like Constantine the First, and this is before the Vatican, before it was the Pope. We're talking about Roman. When it was like a Roman Empire, Roman Emperor. When it was on that type of tip, these were Moors, dark, woolly-haired Romans. The blonde-haired, blue-eyed people had no. These were Slavs at this time. And their women were our harem.
Called me, so I was like, I'm gonna go up again. And I went up like
So, yeah, and that's why I said it like that. People first coming into that, it's kind of confusion because they force images down our throat of the image of what King James the First, Julius Caesar, you know, Queen Elizabeth. They all look blonde hair, blue eye. That's called Reconstruction. To have you looking like you the way you looking. That's all. That's the reason they do that. So you be
Yeah, I'm like, okay.
Yeah, so I knew that I've seen that a lot in history, about the first, like Romans and stuff being like melanated and stuff. But are you saying that at that time those melanated Romans were calling themselves Christians? Because I mean, far as I've seen in history, Christianity didn't come until, like you were saying, with Constantine and the Catholic Church.
Thank you.
But are you saying like, are you basically just saying like the Roman roots is in the Moorish, but the term Christian didn't come till Constantine and Catholic Church? Is that what you're saying?
When Constantine came up, he's the one that's responsible for remixing the Bible.
True.
Yeah.
All right, so as we know it, right? Also,
yeah, because that was the Israelites, and then they called themselves Christians.
now I'm talking about politically. Like when you say like, whenever you start hearing them book Christian versus Muslims, that's infighting. These are Moors that the Muslims kept the ancient culture of originally how it was going down, but we had some of our people that wanted to do something new, wanted to do some a perversion, shadow government, uh, pedophilia, all type of stuff, you know. So our people wasn't down with that. We wasn't down with that. A lot of our people wasn't down with that. So there you start the infighting. Roman. So and once again, so think of it like this. I'm gonna give a timeline so y'all can reference and elaborate. So the Cushites, right? The Cushites was before Abyssinian. Abyssinian was before Ethiopian. But that's the root, right? So the Cushites became later the Abyssinians, and the Abyssinians later became known as the Ethiopians. The Ethiopians are the ones that were the turn Roman. That's the line that turned Roman. Originally, when you start looking at the Byzantine Empire and what they say the Coptic Christians, these were Ethiopian Christians, or what they say Ethiopian Christian, but these were Abyssinian Christians. So these were Moors from the Kushite clans that later became Abyssinian, from they call it said Abyssinian Empire. These were Moors that were Coptic Christian. So remember we looked at the Coptic cross and it's the zodiac. They looked at Christianity not like after the Nicene Council. Christianity, how it was looked at before the Nicene Council, it was still astronomical. That cross was an astronomical zodiac wheel. It was still high science. A lot of the celebrations for Christmas and were based on the equinox and the summer solstice. It wasn't like Christmas, Easter, like how it is today. That's after, right? But it slowly started transitioning to that. Like it went from Byzantine to Roman, or what they say Greek. They like to commercialize and say Greek, but the Greeks were still our people. These are woolly haired, you know what I mean? But I'm just getting more specific of what they'll just say Greek. I'm getting to the specifics, just letting you know the Kushites later became the Abyssinians and Ethiopians, and later adopted the ideology of be calling themselves Roman. And then the Romans were going to war with anybody that practiced an ancient culture or had any type of more, coming from like the Moorish Empire, like Berbers, Fezes, Muslims, nature's law, anybody on nature's law, inheritance, and the heirs of the land. They didn't want that no more. They wanted the select few noble families to rule everybody, and everybody else be dumbed down and puppets and work for them. That's what they wanted. And right, so they used the Slavs as torpedoes initially to do the grunt work. They'll send them to go to war, right? To attempt to colonize the people west of Rome. That's where you get the papal bulls and things like this. These were orders to attempt to colonize the people west of the Iberian Peninsula, or basically, the Americas, pretty much. If they, and this was after this is now I'm kind of jumping around, but this is like 1400 ish when with Island of Luz start falling, the 1400s. Once that side of our empire start falling, now they start sending orders, Catholic orders to their generals, which is called friars and etc. Right, to go colonize the Americas or the islands, and that's why they, Saint Dominicus, for example, was a general sent by, the heads of the Catholic Roman order to colonize the islands, and they successfully did half the island, right? That's why half the island is called Dominican Republic. They think they're Dominican. They're branded after Roman. The other half is standing up saying they're Haitian. That's an example, right? We indigenous. We was here before that stuff. Let's get back to the ancient ways. Same thing Yahshua was saying. Stop being Roman. Let's get back to the ancient ways, right? It's the same. We're saying the same thing. But when you know history, it's going to be crystal clear on what this really is about, the bottom line. You know what I mean? But like I said, I know it's a new space. Like, I've been studying a minute. So like, I'm on a different little level than, most probably people in this chat. But at the same time, that's what we're doing this for. So everybody can be as clear as me. And if there's any questions, take notes so you can, or whatever you need to do to reference or become clear, or we can keep it. Like I say, it don't matter how repetitive it is. It's the dojo. This is where we need to train to ask the questions to become clear.
So we were Romans. We were the Roman Empire at the beginning.
In the beginning, yep, it was melanated Romans.
Okay. So then there was some rituals or ways that the true Moors didn't get down with, so they left that alone and branched off and did something else. Is that what happened?
That's where the Roman came about.
So the television's depiction of ancient Rome is not true. They were melanated people. This is what you're telling me?
Yes. Yes.
So Julius Caesar was a Moor, was a melanated man?
Yes. And that was a seat. Julius Caesar, that's a seat too. That's a position. Like anybody that was from a noble Russian Moor, the czars, there would be a Vladimir, for example. Anybody that was a Russian Moor title of nobility is Vladimir something, right? So That's an
Like the
example.
president now is Vladimir Putin or whatever, but you can plainly see he's Aryan to the heart. He got blonde hair and bright blue eyes, don't he?
But why do you think he told the truth about the history of how it's
That was strange. He did do that. That was very eye-opening for a lot of people, but that still got swept under the bus. People are still under the illusion of the BS. You know what I'm saying? And that's the sad part. But wow, wow. Okay, I gotta do my. Is there any type of book that I can get to break down that? You know what I'm saying? Like that I can read on that.
I would recommend Ancient and Modern Britons by David McRitchie. That's a good start. That's a good starter kit to know who the original quote unquote. I mean, the reason I'm saying quote unquote, you got modern and ancient Europeans, right? But technically, that's just to say it on one level. But technically, European is not a nationality, so it's not like ancient Europeans, because European was just Queen Europa that had the jurisdiction of Asia Minor or the Iberian Peninsula, right? So it's not like European like that. Yeah. But it's still gonna talk about who the original Scottish was, who the original Irish was, who the original Danish. And yes, she put it in the chat. Lionel.
So you saying like with that comment you just made, you basically saying Moorish people was in every corner of the globe in the beginning.
Yeah.
But okay.
There's different ideologies. Different ideologies.
Wow.
Yeah. Any other thoughts? All right. Yep. Oh, he put in the chat Caesar, the title used by Roman emperors. Yep, that's a seat. Yeah, go ahead, Nana. I can hear you.
Oh, no, I just want to say bye. I'm about to head out. Hi, everyone.
All right, peace and love. Peace and love.
Great session so far. I love it. Have a good day.
Hey, Mafia, so what would be like the time frame that you would say like Rome started getting the more of like the white
Aryan part.
Or the more pale look?
Yeah. Like what time frame would you say that started at?
Well, even today, the hierarchy of the noble families is still melanated people.
Like people control. Okay, so you are you? Oh, okay. So you're saying, okay, but we can't. But you're saying, okay, some of them is black, some of them is white, but they mainly like to show the white image of them. Is that what you're saying, kind of?
Nah, he was saying that they sent the motherfucker. Oh, excuse. They sent the people over there to kind of like blemish the bloodline. He said that earlier. You know what I'm saying? But he's saying we was originally there first. You understand? They got orders to send here a bunch of them. You know, how can I say it? Paler skinned people, to be politically correct. They sent a bunch of them to different areas where it was Moorish people and blended them in. That's where you get the mulattoes and the lighter tone people and everything in all walks of the planet. That's what I got from Mob. You feel what I'm saying?
Oh, so is it?
Yeah, basically everybody was Moors. Everybody from Chinese to Russian to whatever. Everybody was Moors at first. That's what I'm getting from it.
Yeah. That's how I sum it up. That'll sum it up. But we, of course, when we're talking to people, we don't want to just say it like that. We want to be able to. You want to go like how we going through the lesson. We want to go through the lesson with the people. We just need to retain the lesson when we're not in this space. We just need to know it, or be able to reference it or cue it up at any given moment, or at least talk about it to somebody else. You can direct people on where to further their study or whatnot. But yeah, man.
Yeah, because back then the pale people was the minority, we was the majority. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? They had to come up with a plan, so that was their plan, you know what I'm saying? And here we are now, but you know what I'm saying? I guess we might be the nation that was wounded but miraculously healed. This might be what the Moorish science is all about. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's what it
We
is
gotta.
about.
That's what I'm trying to tell you, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to tell you, mom. I think different now, bro. Like I move different now. Like I feel different now. You know what I'm saying? And I only been in the game a couple months, man. I appreciate this, man. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
Moors unite the globe, man. If our heads screwed on straight. Oh, is that Larry Bay? Peace and love, man. I just seen TMO. I think that's Larry Bay, man. Peace and love. But yeah, man. Uh, you know what I'm saying? Now you see the potential now when you're looking at it from that point of perspective.
Yeah,
Because let's face it, if we gonna wait for a certain archetype to wake up, like black, like the tip, black, Negro, color people to wake up to do something major. That's why I tell people we can't play skin tone games. We need to approach it from a global perspective. Who got allegiance to the Moorish Empire? Who buying in based on how history and law went down? Who gonna rock with the Moors and get some businesses and get some land and we'll take that, but we need to first know how things went down. We need to know history and law. We need to speak well. We need to have diplomacy, be in the public, let people know we exist as an organization. Make connections and network. That's the only way. Social media is just a small. That's not a reality, actually. The reality is what you're doing in real life. And now you can document that because that all looks good. Because like I say, it could be grant money that come in the future based on people respecting how we moving, um, and alliances and stuff like that. So that's why I like to document that when I say I'm a Moor, I'm really a Moor. It's 7 days a week. I'm doing something Moorish. I'm in the public as the Moor. Most people know me as being a Moor, like everywhere I go. It's not a secret. I'm not living two lives. Like, you know what I mean? And that counts for something as the years go on. People start seeing that and want to rock with you on a lot of different levels. And when a body of Moors is moving together as a unit and it's continually growing as the months and years go,
that's a deep
that's a
thing.
that's a beautiful thing, for a lot of different reasons. You know what I mean?
Word. I'm with you, man. I'm with you. I'm getting it slowly but surely. You know what I'm saying? It's trickling in as time go on, as I do my studying and do my thinking and meditating. I meditate more now than talk. Come on, boy, move. I'm trying to do something. You know?
It's coming, man. It's for life, man. It ain't no rush. We ain't in a rush. We here, man. And
Exactly.
phone call away, man. And we constantly thinking, man, like right now we in this space, trying to get this funding and this grant money
How's
from
that
private.
going, by the way, Marv? That's everything copacetic with that, or how's it moving?
Yeah, so we found out. Matter of fact, I'm gonna stop the recording so we're gonna talk about this.
Okay.